Secretary of the State Blinken gave number of Americans remaining in Afghanistan. What is the number?
20 students and the 16 parents from California are stranded in Afghanistan. What's the story?
White House said President Biden will come to California still to shore up Governor Newsom in his recall election. How did the Larry Elder, the top contender, respond to that?
Future story of the day. Last assignment on the line of duty. How a brave reporter lost his life in Afghanistan.
Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
Kathy Zhang.
All right, the drama of Afghanistan is still unfolding, and before August the 31st and possibly beyond that, that's the topic of today. Okay, so at yesterday's G7 meeting, President Biden insisted that the withdrawal final date shall still be August the 31st, and there's no change to that. But would that be possible?
So a lot of people is concerned about whether all the Americans who wants to come back to home, can they come back? So today, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that he believes less than 1,000 American citizens are still in Afghanistan and attempt to leave. Blinken said that there were 6,000 Americans who wanted to leave Afghanistan on August 14th, and 4,500 of them have been evacuated within the last 10 days. He added that 500 of the remaining numbers have been instructed on how to leave within the last 24 hours. And how many are still leaving?
So,
for the remaining roughly 1,000 contacts that we had, who may be Americans seeking to leave Afghanistan, we're aggressively reaching out to them multiple times a day through multiple channels of communication, phone, email, text messaging, to determine whether they still want to leave and to get the most up-to-date information and instructions to them for how to do so.
So according to Blinken, there are about 1,000 Americans still in Afghanistan, but he said that the number could be lower actually because of various reasons.
Okay.
For example, some may wanted to stay, or some already left the country but did not notify the government, or some said they are Americans, but it turned out maybe they are not.
Okay, so may I beg to differ, all right? So actually, the actual number Blinken said can be lower, but it can be even higher. I think Blinken was pretty precise when he said, according to the 1,000 contact that we have, right? The contact that the State Department has. So mind you that for those of you folks who travel abroad, like you go to Taiwan, go to UK, go to France, do you remember that when you leave the border, when you leave the airport, customs check your name and check your passport and keep your name? Kathy, what's your recall?
Well, yeah, if you leave the country, nobody.
They don't.
Yeah,
they
and
don't.
Also I think let's hear about some of the other stories. It will give you some idea of whether the numbers are more correct or maybe not, right?
Okay.
So according to Blinken, 82,300 people have been flown out of Kabul since August 14th, and among them 4,400 are Americans.
So it's about like a little less than 5% they are Americans. All right. And so what I want to say is okay, as a matter of fact, the State Department, they do not, generally speaking, they does not know how many Americans are in Afghanistan, in Taiwan, in UK, or because it's a free country, we're free to go. When we come back, yes, we're recorded when you come back. But generally speaking, State Department do not have a tally of every American in every country in the world. So now I think the number, basically what he said is right. It's just according to the context that we have. Mm-hmm. So basically people have to contact them, report to the State Department saying that I'm here, I need help. And for those people who have not contacted them, chances are, common sense tells us, Blinken don't have them. So anyway, let's just look at some specific examples here.
So among those people who are still stranded in Afghanistan, 30-some California students and parents. So more precisely, it was said 20 students and 16 parents from San Diego area are still in Afghanistan, and they are from San Diego area, Cajon Valley School District. So the school board president, Tamara Otero, told the media that these students and the parents purchased flights out of Afghanistan before the beginning of the school year on August 17th, but they were not able to leave the country because they were not able to reach to the airport. As you know, they set up a perimeter around the airport. So only if you can go into the airport, you'll be safe and you will have a chance to get on board. So many of the families arrived in Afghanistan in early May and June, months before the crisis unfolded.
And those families. They are mainly the former immigrant from Afghanistan, and then the children. Basically, they went back to Afghanistan as to visit families. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they range from preschoolers to high school students.
Yeah. So we don't know whether the State Department have their numbers, whether those are part of this 1,000 people. But as April 31st draw close, and then after that is passed, we'll find out. We'll find out whether we still have people there, and whether they are able to evacuate all these remaining 1,000 people. Now we got another story, right? Which has to do with another report revealed that about 1,000 Americans are trapped at the American University of Afghanistan. Okay, as of now, only 50 people got out. 1,200 more still needs to get out. So this mere number, just that single university we got.
Right, and that was tweeted by Michelle Kosinski. And she said that the university has had difficulty getting help in evacuating these people out.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at the House representatives from both parties express their doubt about the plan. The House Foreign Affairs Committee ranking member, Michael McCall, who is the representative from Texas, okay, he said he believed the number of American citizens in Afghanistan is higher than the numbers put out by the State Department, and there's no way the U.S. can get all American citizens out of the country by that date, August 31st. Representative Dan Crenshaw, who is also from Afghanistan, he said the Biden administration...
From Texas.
I'm sorry, Texas. He said the Biden administration essentially advised American Afghanistan to make a dangerous journey to Kabul if they hope to receive the U.S. government's assistance in evacuation. He said Kabul is just one city in a very large and a dangerous country, Afghanistan, the size of Texas. So his proposal, he said, I keep advocating that for taking certain air bases. I think we should take a Bagram air base, because that cannot be just single point. Kabul airport is in the middle of, it's just at in Kabul, which is a very busy city, and then Taliban have a very tight grip on. Everybody has to channel through all those checking points to reach that single airport, making it very, very difficult for people to reach that. So he said we should put more troops in and taking those airfields the U.S. used to have, and then defending them for a period of time so that people can come in to those extra point of evacuation. But apparently, nothing has been happening over there. And in the meantime, actually, Democrat, the Representative Tom Malinowski, he's a Democrat representative from New Jersey. He's a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And he said, following a classified briefing for House lawmakers, okay? And a briefing by whom? By the following officials, hear me out. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, and General Mark Milley, Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, all right? So they indicated to the House lawmakers that the August 31st deadline was unrealistic. You see that? And after he said that, and President Biden still said he's holding that date, and which is even different from what the G7, or may I say G6, the leaders want. So Americans Biden still holding on to the original date, and his people is saying that that cannot hold, and the House representative from both parties say they cannot be hold. Will that hold? That's a big question. That's a really, really big question in this remaining 6 days. Hopefully not beyond that.
Yeah, just wonder, I think people cannot help to think with these Americans, the two stories that we shared with you, Americans are visitors unexpectedly trapped in Afghanistan. Part of it, I think it is because, as Biden said, and the Pentagon also said, that they did not expect the Taliban just grabbed power in Afghanistan so quickly, right? And people are still even in visiting Afghanistan. But then why they cannot extend the deadline so for those people can come back?
Yeah, it's like you're playing card. You're playing card with your opponent, and that opponent is called the Taliban, right? It's a very tricky thing, and then we just show our hand. We're playing blackjack. I'm showing you my hand, and you decide. And what did the other party say? What did your opponent say? They said this: we are drawing the red line. August 31st is what you claim to be. If you don't abide by that, there will be consequence. There will be reaction. This little Taliban is drawing the red line for the G7, for President Biden and the United States and all the other greatest, most powerful nation in the world. And then we let them do this.
Yeah, and the American people in there just caught off guard, right? Because even if the Biden administration did not expect it could collapse so quickly, then how would those people know? But actually, what we're going to share with you in our future story might reveal something else. So please follow us onto Safe Chat. We'll share with you what journalists are facing in Afghanistan, a tragic story, but a brave story, but also some information would tell you, it would, I think will make you just cannot help to think why we are in this situation.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next piece of news, which is, widely watched, basically, White House Press Secretary Psaki, and confirmed today that President Joe Biden still intends to campaign for Governor Newsom, all right, in the September 14th California recall election, despite the ongoing crisis in Afghanistan. So yeah, he said he's going to go there.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
Let's listen.
The president is going to be campaigning for Governor Newsom on our way back from Asia. Previously, President Biden expressed at least interest in campaigning for him.
Yeah.
With everything going on, I'm wondering if that's still on the table. And secondly, whether you all feel any sense that this recall is in some ways a referendum on Democratic policies, including handling of coronavirus and if this bill is served.
Well, I would say first I can confirm the president does still plan to go and campaign for Governor Newsom in California. I don't have a date for you at this point in time, but that is still certainly his plan, and I will leave the analysis on the roots of the recall to others.
Okay, so she just affirmed that Biden will still come to California to campaign for Newsom, and also she refused to comment on the referendum
question.
Whether that's a referendum on the Democrats' handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. So what is Larry Elder, who is at the front of the race to replace California Governor Newsom, what is his response to that?
So this is an interview from Breitbart. Let's hear him out. All right, we can play that. This is the audio interview. Okay, it's not a video, but I think it will.
I think something
got stuck.
happened. Yeah, got stuck. So we'll just
Let's
kind
read
of
it out.
share. Read it out for you. What's Larry Elder's response while he interviewed with Breitbart in regards to the prospect of Biden coming to California to campaign for Newsom.
Okay.
He said, "I'll believe it when I see Joe Biden comes here. I'm not sure he is going to. I understand he is supposedly going to come here to campaign on behalf of Newsom. His popularity now is the lower 40s. He's referring to Biden. And he said, I think I saw 41%. most Americans don't even believe he's home, that someone else is in charge. So it's going to backfire. Elder said, but let him bring it in. Have him come in and try to defend Governor Newsom's record on crime, on homelessness, and on the outrage cost of living. And on the way, he ignored science and shut down the state to the point where a third of small businesses are gone forever.
Okay, he went on and said, let Joe Biden make the case for him. I want him to come here, let him do it. And out of all the major political figures in America, Governor Newsom is one of the few who praised the way that he handled the Afghanistan crisis. And it has been a disaster after disaster, one of the worst foreign policy mistakes America have ever made. So if Joe Biden wants to come here and lend his presence to California, I welcome that opportunity. But I don't believe he's going to do it. Do you believe? Do you think Joe Biden, what do you think, Kathy? Any
Make a prediction?
Yeah, any bet? How about this?
I don't know.
Let me volunteer. I think he won't be coming.
Okay, why?
But this is against the odds, right? Because we got, Psaki, this is the press secretary, who said he's coming.
Right.
Because, Joe Biden didn't quite campaign for himself in the November, 3rd last year. So I think it's quite effort. And then now he's got a lot of trouble on his hand. The thing is, after August 31st, right, supposedly, when Joe Biden was so firm that he won't change the date, the crisis shall be wrapped up, shall be over by August 31st. What if it does not? What if it does not? Then I think Joe Biden will really have his hands full at that time, whether he's still able to come to California, and on the other hand, whether Governor Newsom still want him to come. That would remain, two big questions. So I still would like to put 2 question marks to the answer of White House press secretary. What do you think? You want to, give you a guess? Let's just do a guess. And, type up your answer there. And we can, if in a few days, I would say in 20 days, we for sure know the answer. And, okay, that's that. All right, just type it up there. And by the way, let's move on to Safe Chat.
Right.
All right, with the feature story, how a brave reporter lost his life in the line of duty.
Right, and
what sad.
Are the journalists are facing in Afghanistan right now?
Okay, let's move on to Safe Chat. Our staff, please post the link there. And in the meantime, if you install the app, that'd be